The Mongol Invasion of China, 1211–1279 CE, how Genghis Khan's empire shaped Chinese history. The Mongol Invasion of China, which began in 1211 and culminated in 1279, was one of the most transformative periods in both Mongol and Chinese history. It wasn't just a story of military conquest. It reshaped the political landscape of China and left lasting cultural and historical impacts. Let's dive into how the Mongols, under the leadership of Genghis Khan and his successors, changed the course of Chinese history forever. The rise of the Mongol Empire. To understand the invasion, we first need to grasp the background of the Mongols. The Mongols were nomadic people from the vast grasslands of Central Asia, primarily living in what is now Mongolia. They were expert horsemen and archers, which gave them a significant advantage in warfare. Their society was based on clans, and they were known for their mobility and adaptability in battle. The man who united the Mongol clans into a fearsome empire was Temujin, later known as Genghis Khan. In 1206, he was proclaimed the universal ruler and set his sights on expansion. By this time, China was fragmented into different states, and its northern regions were controlled by the powerful Jin dynasty. Genghis Khan saw an opportunity to exploit these divisions and launched the Mongol Invasion of China in 1211. The early campaigns, 1211–1234. The Mongol Invasion of China began in the northern regions, which were controlled by the Jin dynasty. The Jin were already struggling with internal strife and rebellion from their subjects, making them vulnerable to the Mongols. Genghis Khan led his forces across the Gobi Desert and launched a series of devastating attacks on the Jin Empire. What made the Mongols particularly effective was their use of psychological warfare, speed, and intelligence. They employed tactics such as feigned retreats to lure enemy forces into ambushes, which helped them secure victories despite often being outnumbered. In 1215, the Mongols captured Zhengdu, modern-day Beijing, the capital of the Jin dynasty, in a brutal siege. This was a significant blow to the Jin and marked a turning point in the Mongol invasion. Despite these early successes, the Mongols didn't immediately conquer all of northern China. Genghis Khan focused on consolidating his power elsewhere, including campaigns in Central Asia and the Middle East. However, the Jin dynasty was in a weakened state and continued to crumble under the pressure of Mongol attacks. In 1234, the Jin dynasty finally fell to the Mongols, marking the complete Mongol conquest of northern China. The Southern Campaign and the fall of the Song dynasty, 1235–1279. While the Mongols had conquered the north, the Song dynasty still ruled southern China. The Song had been relatively isolated from the Mongol threat, but that changed after the fall of the Jin dynasty. The Mongols now turned their attention southward, but the conquest of the Song was a much more prolonged and difficult process. The Song dynasty was wealthier and more technologically advanced than the Jin, especially when it came to military innovations like gunpowder and fortifications. They had a strong navy and used rivers and canals to defend against the Mongol cavalry, which was more suited to open plains than urban warfare. This forced the Mongols to adapt their tactics and develop a navy of their own, a challenge for a traditionally land-based empire. Despite these difficulties, the Mongols were relentless. Under the leadership of Genghis Khan's grandson, Kublai Khan, the Mongols launched a series of campaigns against the Song. Kublai, who would later become the first emperor of the Yuan dynasty, was a strategic leader who combined Mongol military tactics with the use of Chinese siege weapons and technology. In 1276, the Mongols captured Lin'an, modern-day Hangzhou, the capital of the Song dynasty. This was a massive victory, but the Song resistance didn't completely collapse. Loyalists to the Song cause continued to fight, retreating south to hold out against the Mongols for a few more years. The final battle came in 1279 at the Battle of Yamen, where the last remnants of the Song navy were defeated and the young emperor drowned, ending the Song dynasty and bringing all of China under Mongol rule. The Yuan dynasty and Mongol rule. With the fall of the Song dynasty, Kublai Khan established the Yuan dynasty in 1271, though it would take several more years to fully consolidate power across China. The Yuan dynasty marked the first time in history that China was ruled by a non-Han Chinese dynasty. Kublai Khan set up his capital in Dadu, modern-day Beijing, and adopted many aspects of Chinese culture and governance, even though the Mongols remained distinct from their Chinese subjects. One of the most significant impacts of Mongol rule was the integration of China into the larger Mongol Empire, which stretched from Eastern Europe to the Pacific Ocean. This vast empire facilitated trade along the Silk Road, bringing wealth and cultural exchange to China. The Mongols were relatively tolerant of different religions and cultures, allowing Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, and other faiths to coexist in their empire. However, Mongol rule wasn't without its challenges. The Yuan dynasty struggled with internal corruption, heavy taxation, and constant uprisings. The Mongols ruled as a separate elite class, which created tensions with the native Chinese population. Over time, these tensions would contribute to the eventual fall of the Yuan dynasty in 1368, when the Ming dynasty rose to power, signaling the end of Mongol rule in China. The legacy of the Mongol invasion. The Mongol invasion of China had profound and lasting effects on Chinese history. It led to the establishment of the Yuan dynasty, which, despite its relatively short reign, was a crucial period in the development of China's economy, trade, and foreign relations. The Mongols helped integrate China into a larger global network, opening up new avenues for commerce and cultural exchange. On the other hand, the brutality of the Mongol conquest left deep scars. Entire cities were destroyed, and millions of people were killed or displaced. The Mongols' reliance on non-Chinese administrators and their heavy-handed rule led to widespread resentment, which eventually fueled rebellions and the downfall of the Yuan dynasty. In the end, the Mongol invasion of China was a pivotal chapter in both Chinese and world history. It demonstrated the incredible power of the Mongol military machine and reshaped the political and cultural landscape of East Asia. The Mongols may have ruled China for less than a century, but their impact on the region can still be felt today. From the rise of the Ming dynasty to the continued influence of the Silk Road, the legacy of the Mongol invasion is one of both destruction and transformation.